They start when they're like 5 or 6 for the most part. Not everybody. Some people start later, but most professionals, they start when they're very young. Like all of my peers, anybody else I know in the union now, we've all started, and some of them I've gone to school with for years. Like I'll see them at auditions in New York, like, oh, you're auditioning for this show, this off-Broadway show or Broadway show, and it's people I went to college with or high school with or things like that. But you start very young. You start like 5, 6. And so they'll usually start you off with like, show tunes, of course, but like with like Italian arias to train your vocals. That's what like really like the best will do. They'll start with Italian arias to train your vocals, a little bit of opera kind of, you got to get that bass down. And so I started with that. I remember like resenting some of the songs I would get given because I was like 6 and I'm like, I'm a big girl. I don't have to sing The Little Mermaid. Why am I singing? And now like it's funny. And I didn't want to sing a song from Anastasia. And now it's funny because that's like one of my favorite songs.
That's
like,
one of your go-tos?
One of my go-tos. I love the songs from that show and I love that show in general. So I'm like fine with it now. When I was 6, I'm like, no, I want to be a big girl. I don't want to sing a song like this. And so
now in high school, are you doing all the plays and everything? Are you in all that?
So it kept going on. I kept training. I also was thrown into acting lessons as a child because you got to train in all 3. You can't just do singing. You got to do dance, acting, and singing. You got to train in all 3. And you got to actually take them seriously. That's the other thing. I didn't take my dance classes seriously, so I had to do a lot of making up for it now in my later age. But yeah, so then in middle school, I was still training. I got to my second vocal teacher who was on Broadway. He was Phantom on Broadway. He was fantastic. Shout out to Paul Elkin. He's fantastic. He was a great teacher. And he really kind of like helped bring things to the next level for me for the first time. Now, like for a lot of these like legitimate vocal teachers, even still like, and especially as you get older, you have to like audition to become their student. You can't just become their student. You have to audition and show that like, okay, like, is this worth it? Like, do you have what it takes? Like, or is this going to be a waste of time? Because there's no point in training somebody who just doesn't have it. Right. Like a lot of vocal teachers, it's really like that in the professional world. They will not take you if you aren't like just naturally a good singer, and also slightly like some of them won't take you if you haven't been trained before. So it has to be a combination of both. Especially like at my age now, at my level, you have to have training. You have to have credits, you have to have all sorts of stuff the older you get. But yeah, so I had to audition. He took me on. I was still training and I started doing like pageants. I had my hands in so many pots. I was doing my, first real musical auditions. I remember my first musical audition was at the Schubert Theater for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I made it through to last. I had to be around 12 at this point, and I made it through to like last callbacks. There's like 5 rounds. That's the thing people don't understand. It's not like one audition and then, you're down to 2 people and you get it. No, it's like 5 rounds. And then they start cutting off. And it gets more and more serious as it goes. Like
It's got to be heartbreaking when you get to like round 4
or
5.
That's what happened to me. That is exactly what happened to me. That was my first big audition. I got down to the end. Ugh. I got cut on the very last one. And it was because I didn't make it through the dance call. And I will never forget it. I was so bitter about it. Keep in mind, I'm a child. I'm a little kid. And it's my first time ever doing this. So, of course, and I didn't take rejection very well.